Hello everyone, Allison here with a fresh Aeonaxx guide to prepare you going into 9.0 Shadowlands. For those that don't know, Aeonaxx is a rare dragon mob that spawns in Deepholm. When slain, he drops the reins of the Phosphorescent Stone Drake, which is objectively the best looking of the Stone Drake mounts because it's purple. This rare has changed very dramatically since my last guide, so there is a lot to cover. The first thing to mention is that these changes are currently applied to live servers, and we're hotfixed into the game like midweek, about 2 weeks from this video upload. Aeonaxx has a spawn timer of 2 to 8 hours, which he shares with a tiny battle pet-sized bat mob named Bloodseeker. Bloodseeker is 10 times more likely to spawn instead of Aeonaxx. So after a rum comes up after weekly resets, for example, and after a minimum of 2 hours and to a maximum of 8, Aeonaxx or Bloodseeker is guaranteed to spawn at any of their 6 spawn locations. Bloodseeker will be up for exactly 15 seconds before disappearing, so the chances of you seeing one if you aren't camping and you aren't pressing a target macro for him very constantly is quite low, and Aeonaxx will be up until he's slain. The new changes Blizzard plugged into the servers a few weeks ago don't really impact one-time campers, that being people that are simply farming to get the mount for themselves rather than people that are farming it to share it or sell it for gold, for example. The single largest change is that Aeonaxx can't be pulled around infinitely anymore. He's got a 100-yard leash, meaning that once he hits 100 yards away from his spawn point, he'll evade bug and go back to his spot and start circling again. He also can't be held infinitely anymore. If you hold aggro for longer than 4.5 minutes exactly, he'll get absolutely angry, super mad, and just enraged, basically. He casts something called Wild Wrath, and he murders you and your party members if you're close by with something called Fatal Bite. Youch. These two changes keep him confined to his spawn point for the most part, which isn't a problem anymore because they've also changed every single one of his spawn points. So instead of pointlessly flying in the air waiting for some low-level player to die to fall damage trying to kill him, he now flies very close to a surface so you can aggro him and whoop his ass on him up there so you don't have to worry about his leash or anything like that. So here are all 6 of his new spawn points, and here they are compared to the old ones, just to give you an idea of how drastically they've been changed. The only downside to these changes, I would say, is that it's harder to target every spawn reliably from the inside of the Temple of the Earth. Notably, on his pillar spawns, Aeonaxx occasionally circles outside of target range. Even from the side rooms of the inside of the Temple of the Earth, he can still sometimes go out of range. You could still target him from completely inside if you're patient and take your time when hitting your target macro in the side rooms. So just, float around in there for a little bit, hitting your target macro for about 20 seconds or so. The Phosphorescent Stone Drake can't be obtained with class trials, so if you kill Aeonaxx on a class trial, you won't get them out. You'll just get sadness. You can camp with up to 5 people, and that includes yourself. Be careful if you decide to form a group after finding Aeonaxx up though, because if you deal any sort of damage to him or taunt him, it'll lock the loot to the immediate members in your party that are within probably like 400 yards or so, which is Aeonaxx's furthest target range, by the way. I'd recommend not aggroing or doing anything to Aeonaxx until your entire party is nearby, at least within Deepholm at least, before you try to body pull him anywhere. And then once all your group is nearby, just send him to the Arbiter to be judged in the Shadowlands and loot your awesome mount. When it comes to upping your chances of seeing this rare dragon, I always recommend camping or farming roleplay realms due to their lack of cross-realm zoning. This is a big deal when it comes to competing with other people outside of your party, and you can be more lenient when taking bathroom breaks and going AFK and not having to worry about some high pop person coming in and sniping it. You can easily phase to a roleplay realm too, just by creating a class trial and inviting a friend of yours, passing lead, and then having your friend invite your real tune. Keep in mind that both war modes will have a different timer going on as well, which means that Aeonaxx can be up on both war modes at the same time, which sounds crazy, but I definitely have seen it happen before. That covers basically everything you need to know about the changes for Aeonaxx that have occurred and will persist into Shadowlands. I want to take a second to thank Strelitzia, Ginali, Alliecat, Itzi, Kormex. There are so many people in the mount sharing and mount farming community that have put so much time and effort on beta and PTR, and a lot of this footage is theirs, and I'd like to take a moment to thank them for helping me put together, hopefully, the most concise Aeonaxx guide on YouTube. Hope this helps you guys out, and let me know if you get your mount.